each of the sizes available.
Yep.
We were just going to talk to that for probably about 8 minutes, and then its last call for the Vitamin K2 MK7, and then we'll talk about Essential 1. So
just to reiterate, folks, the show tonight, we have a 2-hour spectacular with Andrew. This will be our final chance to get the amazing Vitamin K2 MK7. There will not be an encore in the next hour due to limited quantities. Let me quickly take you through the pricing. Vitamin K2 MK7, really one of the newer kids on the block, but so important. We're following the science. If you're taking a calcium magnesium product, really important that you consider this.
Or just, we all eat calcium.
Right.
We all have our body's reservoir and reserves of calcium in our bones. We want the calcium to stay in our bones because that's how the bones remain healthy. We want that calcium to not leach out into other tissues like our arteries or valves of our heart or other tissues in our body, because that's calcification, which is undesirable and sort of an undesirable consequence of aging. So vitamin K2 MK7, whether you supplement calcium or never have supplemented calcium, simply the calcium we have in our body, the calcium we get in our diet, vitamin K2 MK7 is absolutely essential to making sure the calcium we have stays where it's supposed to stay, creating strong, healthy bones, and doesn't go where we don't want it to go, undermining the health, the elasticity, the flexibility, the resiliency of, say, our arteries, our veins, and the flexible tissues in our body, even like our joints.
I love it when you describe it as the traffic officer. It's guiding it where it needs to be.
Well, it ensures that it stays where it's supposed to stay, goes where it's supposed to go, and doesn't go where it's not supposed to go. That's why it's a good analogy to call it a traffic cop. And this is by far best pricing ever on the product.
Yeah.
That's why I think we're already down limited in quantity.
And actually, if you're wanting to order the 360, we have fewer than 300 bottles available. So please consider, obviously, the maximum savings down here out of the 4 sizes. This is what you typically spend. That's the today's special. Significant savings, which is why it's been so popular. If you're ordering today, I mean, truly and honestly, down to 69 from 129, that saves you $60 if you're ordering this evening. A wonderful opportunity, Andrew, as you said. One of the newer, more recent findings in terms of the science, you've been talking about it for a few years, but only now it's caught fire.
Well, I wouldn't say it's quite caught fire yet, unfortunately. I've been talking about this for more than a decade, and back then I said it was perhaps the most important ingredient in terms of calcium utilization in our body. Because if we don't supplement calcium, if we don't even supplement vitamin D to aid in calcium absorption, we still have what little calcium our body will have resident in its bones.
Right.
That's the reservoir of calcium in our body. And vitamin K2 becomes even more important then, because what little calcium we have, we need to make sure it stays in our bones. We need to make sure it's stimulating the process, because the bones are constantly building and rebuilding and remodeling themselves. We need to make sure that calcium remains in the bones where it's supposed to be and doesn't go into other tissues where it's both not beneficial and actually harmful. So whether we supplement calcium or not, certainly if you supplement calcium, if you supplement vitamin D, it underscores the importance of that nutrient. There's no escaping the importance of that nutrient, but there's always, it's sort of, as they say, a two-edged sword. Calcium is vital, but we want to make sure we just derive its benefits and that we don't derive any potential harm. And that means vitamin K2 MK7 to ensure it goes and stays where it's supposed to, and it doesn't sort of trespass where it's not supposed to.
And Andrew, the integrity of this particular product versus others that you may find on the marketplace?
Well, simply what we did is we went to the best source of vitamin K2 MK7 in the world, where all the research, all the original research, the original science, that's what we do. Basically, when you look at how I go about making supplements, science is behind each supplement.
Right.
But if I'm looking at the science for purposes of deciding whether to make a supplement, I have to follow the blueprint that the supplement provides, and there's no better way to follow the blueprint in terms of vitamin K2 MK7 than to go to its source, and that's exactly what we did.
I always think it's important to know that out of the limited number of today's specials per year, the fact that Andrew selected this as one of them shows you the importance in his mind in terms of us taking it and enjoying this every single day. Here's now what remains. If you're looking for the smaller try me size, we have truly a few hundred bottles left. There's a 60 caps, a 1 180 or a 360. The only day this year where vitamin K2 MK7 will be a today's special. Everything comes with our 30-day return policy, our money-back guarantee. Everything that we're going to showcase tonight, we know is going to be easy to swallow. We know is going to be easy on our stomachs. We know is going to be full of nothing but the good stuff. And one of the things that you'll see throughout this and our other today's special, the Essential One, is that we get to share with you the story. And that really, Andrew, is what, you know, HSN is going to be celebrating 42, 43 years this year. This company was built upon that, and something you've enjoyed doing, obviously, giving us the guidance.
Well, my company, I've been doing this for 40 years. And where I started was originally doing seminars for doctors on how diet and nutrition plays a role in health and disease prevention. And certainly an extension of that is nutritional supplementation, dietary supplementation. And the way I look at dietary supplementation and nutritional supplements, we're simply looking at nutrients that might not be as readily available from our diet as we would like in terms of vitamin K2 MK7. The only real diet that has it in abundance, or not even in abundance, but has availability at all, is a Japanese diet, because they eat certain fermented foods like natto, which is a good source of vitamin K2 MK7. In the US, there's really no sufficient, adequate source of vitamin K2 in our diet. So unfortunately, we don't get it. And what I was going to do is I didn't do this earlier, read some of the science, read some of the research on vitamin K2 MK7, because the quotes from the science are compelling, incredibly compelling. And this is from Calcified Tissue International.
I've heard great
journal.
things.
Yes. You have your copy at home.
Every night.
Yes. That's your bedtime reading.
Indeed.
The present study revealed more favorable changes in bone metabolism and bone mass indices for the two vitamin K supplemented groups. And we're talking about vitamin K2 MK7 from a journal called Disease Markers. Observational studies revealed a lower prevalence of arterial calcification and cardiovascular mortality in subjects, meaning a lower risk of dying, in subjects with a high intake of menaquinones, which is vitamin K2, and no effect of phylloquinone. And phylloquinone that's vitamin K1. That's the vitamin K that has to do with blood clotting, which we're not talking about that. We're talking about vitamin K2, which has to do with calcium metabolism. So again, vitamin K2 is separate and distinct in terms of those benefits. So this is from Disease Markers. Long-term supplementation with 180 micrograms of menaquinone per day, vitamin K2, for 3 years decreased arterial stiffness in healthy postmenopausal women, especially in women with high arterial stiffness. Progression of aortic stiffness, the most important artery in our body, the largest artery exiting our left ventricle of our heart. Progression of aortic stiffness was related to the severity of vitamin K deficiency. And technically speaking, as Americans, we're all vitamin K2 deficient.
Right.
Vitamin K2 has also the ability to improve lipid profile by increasing HDL cholesterol and decreasing total cholesterol. Concluding, vitamin K, especially K2, enables de-stiffening by impairing and reversing calcification of arteries, suppressing the inflammatory reaction in the vascular wall, and improving the lipid profile. And as much research as there is on vitamin K2 and arterial stiffness and arterial health, there's just as much research or more on the health of our bones from Journal of Nutritional Science and Vitaminology. On the other hand, the association between vitamin K status and cardiovascular disease, especially vascular calcification, has also been reported. Cross-sectional and cohort studies show that high vitamin K status is associated with reduced coronary artery calcification, cardiovascular disease, and mortality risks. So that's vitamin K2. We've always known about its benefits for bone health. Now we also know about the compelling benefits for cardiovascular health.
It's important to consider this. I wish we had more. We just don't. It is last call going out now across all 4 different sizes. I always hate to rush you, but this was supposed to be in our next hour as well, but we just do not have the quantity to support it. So again, the 30, 60, 180 or 360. Today, you're getting 2 today's specials, the vitamin K2 MK7 and the Essential One, plus extra special savings across the board on Andrew's products. So we encourage you, while you're shopping for this, maybe you've been needing omega-3, maybe you've been needing circulation and vein support, certainly add those to your cart to maximize on the savings as well. So with that in mind, Andrew, final words on this one?
I was going to read some more science, if we could, before we run along. because we still have, I think, a few hundred bottles left.
Fabulous.
So we'll just talk a little bit more about it, because once we run along,
we're done.
It's gone. It's done. So from British Journal of Nutrition, thus higher and more stable plasma concentrations were reached with MK7, and MK7 was more efficient in carboxylating, activating osteocalcin or bone protein. That's involved in our retention of healthy bone mass.
Right.
In conclusion, daily intake of MK7 at doses in the order of the RDA, and our product is a little bit higher than the RDA, results in measurable changes and demonstrates the high potency of this vitamin. Clinical chemistry and laboratory medicine, vitamin K plays a key role in the synthesis of several blood coagulation factors, and that's vitamin K1, but it is also strongly connected to bone metabolism and vascular calcifications. And that's where vitamin K2 MK7 comes into play, by improving and supporting bone health and reducing arterial calcification. From clinical chemistry and laboratory medicine, the predominant dietary form of vitamin K in the US, Europe, and most Western countries is phylloquinone, vitamin K1, while the major form in Japan is monoquinones, especially MK7,
right,
which is a component of natto, which is a fermented food I talked about before. Daily intake of vitamin K in a Western diet, of which phylloquinone, vitamin K1, is the larger component, is 90% versus 10% of monoquinone. So we are absolutely deficient in vitamin K2 MK7. We get vitamin K1, and what that means, unfortunately, is that as Americans, we are not getting that benefit of vitamin K2 MK7 to arterial health, which is all about cardiovascular health, because when we talk about heart health, we're really talking about the health of our coronary arteries and other key arteries in our body. When we talk about bone health, we're talking about the bone's ability to maintain its good health and maintain that reservoir of calcium in our body. That's what vitamin K2 MK7 is all about. It does both.
I appreciate, though, that if we were to go into a store, into a vitamin store, and we saw this on the shelf, we wouldn't perhaps know exactly what it is or what it does or why it's important to us. I was reading on Facebook so many of your comments that while you watch, Andrew, you do the same as I do. You make notes, because there's a lot to take in, there's a lot to digest, and it's important information. That's all for the betterment of our health. So if you are intrigued in terms of taking a calcium product or making sure that the calcium that you're getting every day is certainly going where it needs to go, as Andrew said, it's like a traffic cop. It's making sure you're getting the most from it. This is an important product that is gaining in popularity year after year after year. If you would like to get yours, we are very, very close to sell out. So let me go through the options so you see exactly what we have. 30, 60, 180, or the 360. Normally the value is fabulous. I mean, really, you can see our HSN pricing along the side right here. On a today's special, as Andrew talks about, the economies of scale, this is an expensive product. Typically, with expensive ingredients, it allows Andrew to do things that we wouldn't typically be able to do.
And the price, if this was our 50 microgram, the price would still be wonderful. But remember, this is 100 micrograms per capsule. Specifically, we have a 50 and we have a 100. So this is the 100 microgram per capsule of vitamin K2 MK7. And off of that price, which we recently lowered because of savings on the material, that's the savings. So basically, it's almost a buy one, get one free savings. So for a very expensive ingredient, it's a very affordable product today. And even if you choose at one capsule every other day, it's like taking 50 micrograms a day.
Yep.
You're still getting tremendous benefits even at that dosage.
So there's every reason to do it. If you're curious, we invite you to go for it. Final call, obviously. We do wish we had more, Andrew, but there's only so many.
We'll let you know status later in the hour, but we're already down to, I just looked, we're already down to our last few hundred in each size.
Thank you for your orders. As we go along tonight, obviously, because we get busy, especially when it's the finale show, go online. You'll